Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, B.C. Clark.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Business Connection. I'm your host, B.C. Clark. Now, as you know, I interview business owners across the state, some out of state as well. And today my guest is Delia Jangula. Delia owns Midwest Objective Consulting. Delia, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, so tell me a little bit about your business.
Okay, Midwest Objective Consulting, we are focused on helping the community, small businesses with resources to capital, whether it be loans or grants, and mentoring, training, again, just anything that the small business would need.
Okay, and that's great because we have a lot of small businesses here that are, some of them are really thriving and some of them are at that point where they do need the training and the mentoring and things like that. So it's good that we have more than one or two consulting businesses, plus there's other services out there as well. So when did you when did you think that you wanted to have your own business? What was that like? And then tell us a little bit about the process.
Okay. Well, I was working with a nonprofit, and it's a great organization. They have a lot of the resources, but I think that the process was too slow, to really help the small businesses. Like when you're having an issue with your business and you need money, like now, it's tough to wait the 3-4 months, which is crazy.
Absolutely.
So then I decided that working independently, then I would have more control of making sure that the loans or grants or whatever goes as fast,
as you could,
as I can get them done.
Right. And I think you worked at Wells Fargo or some bank before.
I did.
And so you had those experiences as well that you brought to that.
Yes.
So you understand that process. And I think that's really important because a lot of times, when someone goes to, whether it's a bank or a different lender, they may have a process, and some of them will say, oh, well, we work with small businesses and we get the loan to them and all that. But oftentimes, if the underwriting is kind of shady, it doesn't happen that way, right?
That's true. That's true. And I've been in sales for, I'm not going to say, 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years. And again, the people, well, they'll want a service or whatnot, but because of credit issues and all this, they need to work with somebody who's experienced in getting loans through.
Right.
And so I've done that like in the car industry, I've done it with insurance, and
lots of experience,
yes.
And not only that, but you've already identified actually a lot of the issues that business owners have today, and because we're both of us are in the same field, and I think that what's good is that we have passion to help, and that's really important because they're not numbers,
right?
They're individuals who are trying to get somewhere, and so when we look at our practices, that's what we provide. First of all, we take them in, and embrace them right where they are. So it doesn't matter where they came from, but we listen at what they're trying to do.
Right.
And we look at our strengths, our abilities, and the resources we have to be able to help them get the results that they need.
Exactly.
And so I think that makes us different in that aspect, whereas a lot of times the lender don't know them, they don't take that time because usually they don't have the time.
Right.
But I think a lot of it is that, and we've seen some really slow processes that happen, and people have had to, sometimes shut their business down because they're waiting on a loan to come through. And they'll go to places where it's told them that, oh, yeah, we can get that for you, but the process is
Right,
slower.
right.
What do you think some of the issues are when we look at process? And we do know that a lot of times it just takes so long. Could it be people in wrong positions
I
within an
think so.
organization?
I think so. Or they're just, I think a lot of people are there for the paycheck and they're not really focusing on really doing the job that they're supposed to be. And I am passionate about trying to really help them.
Right.
So I'm going to go wherever I
Above
need
and
to, above and
beyond.
beyond to help them and make sure that they're seen for the goals that they have for their business.
Right.
And try to help them wherever I
If we
can.
can.
Yeah, wherever I
Yeah.
can.
I've noticed that as well, that it depends on, there's a lot of lenders, in our state, and some of them are what they call community development financial
right.
institutions. And what I've noticed a lot is that if that person that's in underwriting isn't a business owner and doesn't understand business,
Shouldn't be there.
they
They shouldn't
really
be
should
there.
not be
They
in that
should not be in
position,
that, right.
because it's very hard for them to even put together, because they're going to base everything on what they do.
Exactly.
And I've
exactly.
noticed that.
Yes.
And so it's unfortunate, because sometimes when people say, "Oh, I've worked in this industry," they're not, they're not giving the whole story.
Right.
And some people even worked in a bank, but they don't understand the underwriting process.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Or if they haven't had a business. If
they
they
ha-
haven't
and
had a
that's the key
business, then
thing.
that's right, right.
If they have not had a business, it's a very bad place for a person to be in underwriting position.
Exactly, exactly. Or even in a consulting, the
In
way
a
we do.
consulting role,
Because how are you going
absolutely.
to consult somebody to do something you've never done
Never,
before?
exactly.
Right.
And I think sometimes that slows things up, because,
does.
for instance, they may say, "Well, I can't. This person can't get along because, they can't go out to eat every night." That's not. That's not a personal
Right.
decision.
Right,
It's
right.
based on their credit, their ability to pay back.
Right.
What
The whole
assets do they have?
picture.
Yes, the whole
whole
picture.
picture.
And so I think we find that happening a lot.
We do, and I think if we keep our focus on the individual, the business owner also feels that, and that's where we I have a lot of individuals that still come and visit me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I do too.
yes.
Because I think that once they know they've gotten, loyal, good information, and especially when you're mentoring and training as well,
Right.
when you give them that information that changes whatever part that they didn't have,
Right.
then that allows them to grow to that next level.
Exactly,
And I think that
exactly.
I think that, that's what we provide to them,
Yes,
And in your business, I know that, that's what you do. You go above and beyond, and you say, okay, well, maybe you need this right now. So we make suggestions on how they can get to that next level.
Right, right.
know.
And I've been focusing a lot on a lot of businesses have been going through like the pandemic and all this, and a lot of changes, and they only have like one source of revenue. So I've been trying to lead or train my people to maybe be open to some other that are closely related to what they're doing, and so that they have a couple of resources of income,
Yes.
so that they can carry each other. If one of
Yes.
them is doing a little not a great month, the other one can carry it.
Carry the other.
Right.
And I think the other-
that works real well.
Yes, yes, I agree with that. And I think also, a lot of times when clients come, I look at the businesses, and if this person is kind of like, maybe that industry is kind of slow right now, but someone else was in that class that's doing this, that they could do things
Yes,
together, and they'd be able to
collaborate
offer
together.
each other's business customers
Right.
both products. A lot
Exactly.
of times that changes the
Yes,
whole
it does.
thing.
Yes, it does.
And so I think as consultants, don't you agree that you're always thinking and learning how you can best serve your clients?
Exactly, exactly. And I think back to like the CDFIs and stuff where they have one person doing this with not even having the right background
Right.
for the to help the community and the
It hurts.
businesses. It does hurt. And it's unfortunate because they are very good. They have some really good resources
Resources.
to offer, but just having the right people also is very important.
It's really important.
Yeah.
I think when we think about employees, that becomes a number one key thing, because if you hire the wrong people, it's just like a restaurant.
Right.
So if you hire people that don't understand customer service,
You
then,
can have, yeah.
yeah,
that's
people
true.
go, "What you want?" With the
Right.
menu, yeah. Well, you can get that if you want to. I mean, I never ate it before, and I've actually been to restaurants where people have done that, and the first thing I'm saying, oh my God, this owner needs to know that this person is not serving their client the way I know they probably trained them.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to watch out too. You have to really know who you're hiring, right?
Yes, I
Employees
agree.
and-
Totally agree.
And I think that as a small business, we sometimes have to, but I think we do a better job of vetting people that we want to work for us better than a lot of the other companies do,
Exactly,
because
exactly.
we're not hard up. Like, you know what I mean? We
Right.
take a lot of time and we do a lot of stuff ourselves. So
Exactly.
we have to take that time and train those interns or whoever comes in to the stature of the standard that we're expecting them to deliver in our
Exactly.
business. And we have to make sure that they understand our mission too.
Right.
You know?
And a lot of that goes to also attending the events. I think
Yes.
it's so important for us
It's
to
so
attend,
important.
because a lot of people don't know that we even exist.
Yes.
You know, and that these funds and resources are out there for them.
Right.
I've talked to some, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know people actually do that." You know, and they've been struggling with their business, trying to make it grow on their own without the capital, without So
Staying in
it's
one
good-
area.
Exactly.
And they can't. You know,
Right.
I always say, the money is green in every area of the state. And
Right.
so when I say that, they just kind of look at me like deer in the head, like, well, why did she say
Right,
that?
right.
Because we can't just stay in that one area. Look, if you're going to own a business, and I'm going to just say this as we're talking here, when you own a business, your goal is to make money. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure that's why if you're a for-profit business, it is to make money. So that means that you go into areas that you wouldn't normally go into. Because why? Because you may find a customer under your coffee cup. You
Yeah,
may find a
that's true.
customer, at a Coffee and Connections in the morning. You may find one, at something, a Sip and Learn or Uptown Switch. There are
be surprised.
opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these are opportunities for you to go and be able to meet other people and find out what because they're going to tell you, oh, yeah, I'm struggling with this, or I have an issue with this. Do you know anybody that does this? And so you have your ears on listening. And so that's the opportunity when you're listening at these individuals. You make sure you get their card, you introduce yourself.
Right.
But don't take up the whole conversation, because we have to talk a little bit about networking. Networking is a tool, and even if you're not good at it right now, you can be better at it because it's a learned tool.
It is.
The more you do it, the better you get at it. And so take your opportunity and go out. And then even if you're the type of person that is maybe an introvert, if you go, someone's going to come up to you and start talking to you.
Exactly.
So you just be ready to talk. Just know your business, know what you want to say. Have your little, 2-minute elevator pitch, and that could be the name of my business, what I provide to my customers, my name, and my website.
Exactly.
And then
never
you
know
shut up and let the other person
Right.
talk.
You never know who you're going to meet there.
No.
If you're having a problem and stuff, it just so happens. And what I've seen, like with my clients, they're like, "Wow, I went there and I was looking for a location, and they gave me the best location out in
yes.
a little bit further than where they wanted, but it's working out
Yes.
great." So
Absolutely.
you just never know who you're going to run into.
You just never
Yeah.
know. And I think that's important, that as business owners, we have to be adventurous. It's a spirit.
Yes.
When you are an entrepreneur, it is a spirit. I say that because that spirit is what drives you
Yes.
to want to do. And you get up in the morning thinking about the business, you go to bed thinking about the business, you wake up, thinking about the business. So you're always thinking of what you can do next
Exactly.
in that business. How
Exactly.
can I expand this business?
And
You
there's
know?
nothing more rewarding to actually see some of the clients that I've had right now, like with the consulting, like 3 years,
Yeah.
to see a client come from having one person that they're taking care of to having a big facility now.
That's right.
And
We
just,
see it
it's-
every day.
Yes, it's
We do.
awesome.
And
And
it
to know that
really
you
is
had
good
something
for
to
us.
do with it. Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
and that's really good.
Yes.
And that's what we were talking about, because as consultants, you can lay out something, because they'll tell you what they want. They have their goals and whatever. And from that, you strategically plan, and give them a plan. They agree to the plan and they go and do it. Now, when they do it, and then they may not come back to you right away, but when they come back to you after their business is running well, they're doing good, and say, you know what, I would not have been able to do that without what you told me.
Exactly.
It changes your whole life.
Right.
And it lets you know that you're doing what you're
What you
supposed to
need
be
to do.
doing. Yeah, this is where you should be. I call it the Zoom.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that zone, it just flows.
Right.
It
And
just
I've missed a few, because we have so many clients.
Yeah.
But when I hear of a client that lost their business, and I'm like, I want clients to come to me, not only that they have to pay me something right now. It's not
Right.
about that.
No.
Come to me with your problems.
Yes.
And it's better for two of us to work at it.
Yeah.
And see, if we can help you out of it before it gets to where you
Right.
lost,
Yeah, don't wait.
a business.
Don't
Exactly.
wait. Because if you're
there's
struggling,
a solution out there.
Yeah, there's always solutions.
Exactly.
And someone else always knows what that
Yes,
solution is.
yes.
And sometimes it's that you're in that solution so that other person can help you, but it also helps them. Because when we as consultants help other people, it
Exactly.
grows grows us as well.
Yes, it
it's
does.
a two-way
It does.
street. And so you always have to remember there, if you don't know it, somebody ask.
Somebody
Please don't
will.
just sit on something and let it just go down without asking. There's so much talent out here. There's so much abilities. Midwest Objective Consulting. There's so many resources out here. And if you don't know how to tap into them, you need to meet with the people that does.
Right.
That knows how to tap into those resources for you. Yeah, there are a lot of grants that's floating out there, and people are going crazy right now. But I tell you, it's really bad when a grant is not facilitated correctly.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And it really frustrates people, especially when they're trying to get somewhere and you keep putting demands on, oh, well, I need this now that you thought about. Oh, no, I think I want this too. Oh, well, let's see, can you come to class? I think all that is just too much.
Right.
A grant, if it's a grant, facilitate the grant the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Don't put your stuff in
Underwrite
there.
it.
Yes, and
not
don't
supposed to
underwrite
be
it. Yeah, don't
underwritten,
underwrite
yeah.
grants. That's just ridiculous.
Yes.
So I think that that's really good. But I think that when you have true people like yourself out here that are consulting and that care about these people that are coming to them, that's why you have so many. Because the word gets out
Yes.
when you are doing a good job, when they feel like they're really getting information from you that's allowing them to grow and to be and to do, they're going to tell people about it. And that's what we want.
do. They
you
do.
know? And so I think that you continue to do what you're doing. You continue to be the person that, have the passion behind helping people.
Right.
And that's important. It's really important. And people know.
Yeah,
They
do.
know. They know
do.
when you care about them and when you don't.
And if a client goes to any of the organizations and you feel that they don't care, they probably don't.
Yeah.
Try to find one where you feel that they actually care. You'll
do
see
care.
it. You'll
Yes.
see it.
Yeah.
And you'll feel it too.
Yeah,
So,
you will.
right.
Yeah, and I think that the problem is that when we don't have people in the right place. So, just keep searching. Keep searching for your information.
And
Don't
keep
stop.
networking. Keep
yes,
networking.
and keep networking, because a lot of times there are always education at the networking
Yes.
events. There's always someone speaking on a particular subject. I always like to get back to networking because some people say, "Oh, I don't have time to network." You don't have time not to network.
Right,
Especially
right.
if you're a small business and you're just getting started. And so let me give you a few tips, and I'll ask you to input some of these as well. But if you are just starting your business, right, and just say you've done all the stuff, you've done your business plan, you've checked your industry, you've done your research, you kind of know what the industry is going to do in the next 5 to 6 years, and that's good. I applaud you for that.
Yes.
There's a couple more things I want you to do. Before you really launch, you should network about 6 months, at least 3 to 6 months of networking. And why? Because you will be able to make some connections along the way. So when you do your grand opening, you're going to end up with 30, 40 people at that grand opening, because people love to see other businesses open up and begin to start their businesses. So we're going to come and support you. That's just what we do. So don't sit back and say, "Oh, I don't have time to network." You have to network. Okay? Unless you're a tech business and you've got all the grants you need to run your business, and all of a sudden now the app is running and you don't need anyone. But if you're a small business in different industries, you need to be able to network. And don't shy away from, "Oh, it's a drywalling." Go.
Right.
You don't know who you're going to meet there. Oh,
Exactly.
this is just talking about, salons or real estate. Go. You don't know who you're going to meet. So you can't limit yourself on the things that you go to, because you never know where your next customer is. And your goal is to be able to find that next customer. So you go to things, and I take a note of the things I go to. I also write down if it was a return on my investment to that event. So one event that I go to all the time is the Omaha Empowerment Breakfast, which is at Beacon Hill the first Friday of every month. It starts at 7 a.m. It goes to like 8:30. There's always a 20-minute speaker, and there's 3 or 4 3-minute business owners that talk about their business as well. That's a great opportunity for you to meet other people. They're looking to meet you. So go to that. The Nebraska Hispanic Chamber has a breakfast the last Friday of every month, except for November. And they have different places. So go to their website, the Nebraska Hispanic Chamber, and it's the fourth Friday. They meet at 8 o'clock, and the breakfast goes from like 8 to 9. 9:30 or so, but they always have a speaker, and there's tons of people, 80, 85,
right.
90, and just like on the Empowerment Breakfast, there's always 85, 90 people at that, businesses at that one.
MOWBC
The
meeting.
MOWBC have a breakfast the third Friday of the month. It starts at 7:30, goes to like 9. You don't have to stay there that long. There's always a speaker. There's always a good breakfast. And so, MOWBCF.org is where you would get the MOWBC breakfast. The Empowerment Breakfast is OmahaEmpowermentBreakfast.org. And then Nebraska Hispanic Chamber is NHCC.org, I think, or NebraskaHispanicChamber.org. But just search it, Google it, it'll come up for you. Go to these events, right? And then the chambers all have, the Omaha Chamber has events all the time, Ralston Chamber, La Vista Chamber. There's so many events that you can go to. So there's no reason for you not to have a, database of people that you met during your networking. And then when you get those names, those cards, put them in your database. And if you don't have a CRM system, just, put it in the Excel file so you can go and search them and get them out. You can call them, set up coffee for them, have lunch. Get to know people, because the more you know as you build your influence out there, the better it's going to be when you get in business, because they'll know who you are
And stay
they'll
connected.
be referring people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Stay connected
And stay connected.
so that when things do come up like that PPP,
Yes.
I don't know how many people I've talked to that I didn't know anything about that, and
Yeah.
they could have had, three
Could have
different
had funds for that.
yes, and
The
it's
idol,
it's
the-
terrible
yep, the
to
idol.
hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you need to just be in contact with
Yes.
some of the organizations out there.
And I think the other thing too is that there was a lot of programming during that time, like the resumption plan, and a lot
Right.
of grants were based on that resumption plan. And so we offered a class for it. People came to the class and they were able to get a $5,000 grant. So you want to look for these type of things. So what we're trying to tell you, as both we're business owners, and we know, we worked for other organizations before, but we have our own businesses, and we've been doing our business for over 25 years. So what we're telling you is true information. It's information that we have experienced and we've learned, and we know that works. So when you're coming to us, you're coming to people that have that experience and know. Again, I want to say, my guest today is Midwest Objective Consulting. Throw some points in there, because I know you have some that you want to put in.
We're at 27th and Farnham, and
Yes.
again, I would encourage y'all to reach out to us and try to get on our email list at least,
Yes.
so that I can let you know when the classes that we're going to be doing. We're doing
Right.
classes for contracts,
Yes.
for commercial contracts,
QuickBooks.
and then the QuickBooks.
And then we'll have marketing. We'll also have
Right.
How do you price your product. We also talking about financials. So we have bankers. We have and in our team we have a banker. We have insurance. We have accountants, and we have legal. So don't don't miss. And just so you know, Delia and I work together as consultants, and we merge a lot of the stuff that we do. But come and check us out. We have everything that you need, and not only that, but we have access to capital.
Right.
So we don't do loans ourselves, but we can get you prepared so that you can
Exactly.
go and
Exactly.
get that loan that you're looking for.
And the credit also.
And the credit. Yeah, we do credit
fixing it.
counseling. We do how to build credit as an asset. There's so much that we have to offer you. Growth Wheel is another tool that we have that you can be able to grow your business. So don't hesitate. Midwest Objective
Consulting.
And give us your phone number.
It's a 402-215-7968.
Yes.
And so reach out to us. And also, if you need a pep talk, if the business is down a little bit, come and talk to us. That's not going to cost you anything. And
yes.
and I
and
can
we
give you
have
some tips.
time where you can come and talk to us for
Yes.
15 to 30 minutes. And that's just we're helping. We want to know what you need. You need to know what we have.
Exactly.
So, but I think that is really good. I'm so glad that you came down today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's really an opportunity for people to know that your business is existing. And I want to keep saying it, Midwest Objective Consulting, 27th and Farnham.
Farnham, yeah.
So it's 2679 Farnham Street, Suite 101. So actually, come in, and you don't have to actually try to find us first. Come to that location.
Right.
And then you'll find consultants
One
there.
of us will be there.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of opportunity for construction workers right now.
Exactly.
We'll talk about it. We know that there's a big project at Offutt, We know that there's a lot of the primes have millions of dollars that they'll be working. So you really want to get connected. We have on May 9th, we will have a construction company, a prime company that's going to come in. We'll also have the City of Omaha that'll be there is May 9th. It's going to be at 2679 Farnham Street. And they'll be talking about some of the things that are going on. If you want to be a small emerging business, the City of Omaha will be there to talk about that SEB, okay? And we're working on getting Apex there on May 9th to also talk about the women-owned small business, as well as the 8A program, and also the getting into SAM. So those are the opportunities that we have coming up. So you want to make sure that you kind of do that. And you know, the other thing too, I want to keep saying this, that say your phone number again, please, at Midwest Objective Consulting.
It's 402-215-7968.
Yes, and again, the address is 2679 Farnham Street. And so if you could give them like just 2 points as an entrepreneur, what would you tell them?
I would say get a good contact, especially for when things are tough and you're needing funding. Know where to go. The bankers, a lot of times, they're good when you're already there. You know, you have the great credit, everything's going great. Well, that's not when you need someone. When you need someone is when, you know, there's credit issues, there's income to debt ratio issues. That's what we're here for. We can help you through that. Just give us a chance.
And I say if you're just starting, you want to make sure that you do your research. Make sure you're researching the industry. Make sure that you are looking at the trend of that industry. Is it going to be declining in a couple of years? If so, that's not the industry. So maybe looking at industry for a different area that you may be able to serve that isn't going to be declining, that you see that it's going to be, you know, growing over the next 5 to 6 years, okay? That's going to be really important. So when you choose the business, if you're not already working in it, choose wisely and do your research, please. The more research you do and the more planning you do, the better off of a footing you'll have. Your foundation will be a lot more sound, and that's the way you'll be able to bounce off that foundation and begin to grow. So just take these few tips from us.
And for an honest opinion, like I said, BC is going to tell you the way it is, whether good, bad, or ugly.
Consultant.
Exactly.
No nonsense consultant. We believe in you, and we want you to believe in you. So the way to do that is to make sure that we get you set on the right foot. So credit issues, trying to get a loan, looking for how you can grow your business, Midwest Consulting, okay, and the Business Connection. We want to get you connected.
Exactly.
Stay tuned. Our next show will be next week. But watch us at Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Every week, okay? There's always tips and tools for you. We love you. We love to see you all the time and want to see you build a great business. All right, let's get out there and scale them up, okay? Thank you so much for joining us today. Delia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate that you took the opportunity to come. And I know there's exposure, so that'll be good.
That's good.
And we're going to have to put a KPA logo on the window of your building there. That way they can know that we're doing good.
Works for
me. This was a great opportunity. And I think them too, because there's a few minutes left. So thank you guys for joining us. And,
thank you.
We'll see you the next time on The Business Connection.